Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at pinning, showing and hiding. So by the end of the video you'll know all the differences between those and why you might want to do each. I'm Gavin Jones, I'm Transformation Manager for a Fortune 500 company, and all the tips we put on YouTube have come out of real life examples. We've got a new video on Teams coming out every Tuesday, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified every time we release a new video. And if you haven't already, click the free download button in the link below to get free access to our training deck, either to use it as training other people or just to get some of the tips that we talk about all in one place written down. So let's go and have a look at pinning, showing and hiding channels. So here we are in Teams, and I'm just going to quickly go through notifications and app mentions because that's the main gist of why we want to show or hide or pin a channel. More detail in one of the other videos I'll link in, but basically what we're talking about is if you do app channel in a channel, it's going to pop up and suggest the channel that you're in, which is the one we're in is testing. And if we do testing and hello, then what we're going to be talking about is whether you get notified about someone doing that or not. So when we say channel mention, that's what we mean. You can mention any other channel from any other channel, just to bear that in mind, within the same team. And so what we're talking about is whether you get notified about those ones or not, and then why people are getting confused with pinning. So the reason I decided to make this video is I see lots of people getting confused with pinning, showing, hiding. Some of the language isn't great. Some of the way the UI shows up could be better, I'm sure. Might need a few more tweaks for Microsoft finally land on what they want to call it, because this was called favoriting and unfavoriting when Teams was first released. Now it's called show and hide, and then they've also added on pinning, which sometimes gets a bit confusing for people. Even during training, when we tell people to show channels, they are then clicking pin, which I'll go through. So basically, if you've got a channel, the way I think about it is either the channel's in your list or it's not, it's hidden. So if it's in your list and it's not italic, then if someone does a channel mention, you're going to get notified about it. When we say notified, it's going to pop up in the bottom right hand corner. It's going to be a big red 1 next to the channel, and there's going to be something in your activity feed to do with someone else mentioning the channel if you've got the channel in your list, which is called it being shown. If the channel's in your hidden list, then if someone does @testing2, for example, because it's hidden for me, I won't get notified about that notification or that app mention. And so what people have been doing is if you can just show it directly, which is then adding it to your list. And if I click on show there, that's going to add it to my list. It's not italic. And now if anyone does @testing2, I'm going to get notified about that message. So hopefully that's relatively simple so far. If I go back to hiding testing2, where it starts to get a bit more tricky, especially if people are clicking in the wrong place. If you don't click on show, and you see that eye icon goes purple when I move over show, but if I move slightly to the left, it's not purple. If I just click on testing2, it's going to temporarily put it into my list, as in I can see it, but it's italic. So if someone has done that, and I say, well, you need to show all the channels in your list, so you get notified about the ones that you need to be notified about. People are clicking on them, going italic, and then saying, well, why is it disappearing? Because I've shown it in my list. I can see, as in they can see it. So that I guess the language isn't great, because it's like, well, I can see it in my list, but then when I click off it, it disappears. So I have shown it in my list, but it's then going. So when I say show, it means actually click on this show button on the right. That adds it to your list permanently. And then if you click on that channel or off it, it's going to stay in your list. And that's when you get notified about channel mentions. If it's hidden, even if you then click on it to see it, as in not show it, then you won't get notified if people are doing channel mentions there, because it's not permanently in your list. Sometimes if you stay on a channel, temporary channel, for too long. I don't know if this is a bug or by design. I've not been able to find any documentation. Sometimes this gets added to your list sort of automatically. So I've been on channels before where I've got a notification about something else, and a channel like maybe an individual app mention, but it's a channel that's hidden. You still get notified about individual app mentions. Or maybe you've got a channel that's hidden, and in that channel someone's mentioned another channel that you have shown. It will still ping you because it's app mentioning a channel that you want to get notified about. So it's directing you into that channel. It appears italic because it's temporary, but I don't know if I've left it on too long or whatever, but then that channel has then got added into my list and made not italic and therefore permanent, and I've started getting channel notifications about that. Not sure if that's a bug or by design, but just to bear in mind that might happen to you as well. If you leave set testing 2 on for now, it might get added permanently. So to add to this slight confusion of temporary and permanently being able to see channels in your list, once you've clicked on a channel and you're viewing it and it's italic, and I say you want to add channels into your list to get notified about things you want to get notified about, even during training, people aren't clicking that show button because it's quite unintuitive that you're seeing a channel and you'd still want to show it, I would say, in how this has been termed up. So people are then clicking on pin, and especially if you scrolled quite far down, when you click on pin, it's pinning the channel to the very top of your list. I've got lots of teams, and the idea of pinning a channel is that you can keep track of that channel or different channels from different teams that are really important to you at the top of your list. So you don't need to dive into each team to find the channel that you mostly work in. I guess that's the idea of being able to pin channels at the top. But what people have ended up doing, I click back on testing 2, is pinning channels that are hidden. And again, I don't know if this is by design or not, but it seems quite hit and miss whether if you pin a channel that's hidden but temporarily visible, that should add it into your list and then show it. So by pinning it, you should also then show it. But when I just did it just then, you see that it didn't show it until I unpinned it, and now it's gone not italic. So if I try that again and hide it, usually what I found happening is that if you pin a channel, it automatically shows it, which is then also confusing about why you don't want to pin it versus showing it. So if I click on testing 2 again, it's not pinned at the moment. It's not shown, but it is visible because it's italic. And if I then go and pin that testing 2 channel, it's then done what I thought it would do, in that make it not italic. It's added it to the list, and so it's now shown. But you could have done the same thing without pinning it top of the list by just clicking on show in your hidden list like we did before. So people are pinning lots of channels thinking that's what they need to do to get channel notifications. Even if they're only a member of one team, they're ending up with every single one of the channels that they want to show also pinned to the top, which then just clogs up your view with the same thing twice, and there's no reason to do that. The reason for pinning it is just to keep the channels you want really quick access to at the top of your list of all of your teams if you're a member of quite a few teams. If you're only a member of one team, there's pretty much no reason pinning a channel unless you want to pick out 1 or 2 out of a long list of channels that you want to get notified about. But if you just want to get notified or not notified about channel mentions, you want to do that through hiding and showing. If you've already pinned a channel, you can't hide it until you unpin it, which is why I can now not hide testing 2. So I need to unpin it first, which will take it off the top list, and then I can go back and hide it, which will then remove me getting channel notifications about people typing at testing 2. So a bit of a convoluted one today. It's caused a lot of confusion in our user base. Let us know if you're having the same issues as well, and if this was useful, remember to give the video a like. We've got a new video on Teams coming out every Tuesday, so hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you haven't already. And remember that we've got a deck that we use for training that you can get clicking the free download link in the description below if you're not already as well. And then finally at MeeTime, we think meetings could be a lot better. We've got a timer app in the iOS App Store, search for MeeTime, or visit www.meetimeapps.com for any more info. Thanks for watching so far, and we'll see you in the next video.